Good. So today we shall be looking at overcoming disappointment or shocks in marriage or relationships. And disappointment or shocks are unpleasant experiences that sometimes you did not really expect in the first few months or years into your marriage. And many couples find that the expectations have fallen short, and so somehow they become disappointed. I mean, you either live with it or you overcome it. So our focus is how to overcome it. And because of some of these stories, most single people are really afraid to really get married because of the stories they hear from couples. But once you know what to do, then you should be able to face every disappointment that you will encounter on properly. And so let's mention some of the shocks or disappointment. The first one is unhappiness. Sometimes after the first few years into your marriage, you realize that you are not happy. Sometimes you have financial problem, sometimes health issues, sometimes sexual problems. Either your partner is not really good sexually, or sometimes either he likes sex too much. Sometimes it could be the fruit of the womb, it could be spiritual attacks or marital unfaithfulness, or maybe your spouse exhibiting ungodly character. So all these shocks or disappointment can really take the joy out of the marriage or the relationship. So as I said, it's either you live with it or either you overcome it. And our focus is how to overcome it. And so let's spend the next 3 minutes to look at how to overcome some of these shocks and disappointment. The first one we'll mention is that you need wisdom to know what to do. Wisdom to know what to do. And you need God's favor. Our text is James 1:2-8. It says, "Consider it pure joy, brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If any one of you lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and to be given to you." So you really need wisdom to really handle some of the shocks, and you need the favor of God, because there are some things that only God can do. So in fact, you need God. And then the second point that we want to share is that endeavor to understand the purpose of the disappointment or the shock. What is God really teaching you? Because we believe that in His sovereignty, He allows, He designs things. And so God has a purpose for allowing that to happen, even if you are an unbeliever. So let's mention some few points regarding the purpose of some of these disappointments or shocks. The first one I think that you can think of is that it helps you identify areas you need to work on in your marriage or relationship. So the shocks and disappointment, they are, if you like, strong messages. The second purpose is that the disappointment tell you what can potentially destroy your marriage. So don't just be shocked, but also take notice of that, because that thing can really destroy your marriage or relationship. And the third point is that these disappointments sometimes are designed by God to really discipline you. For example, I put a few examples here. Let's mention them. For example, if you like, let's say, too much sex, your marriage shock or disappointment can be that you cannot have too much sex in your marriage. And in this way, you learn to take your sexual, you learn to tame your sexual appetite carefully. Or it could be that you really like shopping. And so you find that your spouse will be kicking against the habit of shopping, or there will not be enough money available in the marriage or relationship to spend. And in this way, God will help you to overcome your shopping addiction. So any a shock or disappointment that you will experience in your relationship or marriage are all designed by God to help you to be a better person. As I said, you either live with it or you overcome it. And to overcome it, you need the wisdom of God, you need the favor of God to overcome it. And the disappointments themselves, they've been designed by God for some of the reasons we've mentioned. One, to help you identify areas you need to work on in your marriage or relationship. And also, they tell you what can potentially destroy that relationship, which you have to really work on them. And then the third point is that these disappointments sometimes are designed by God to help you to become a better person, to discipline you, to tame some of your habits, desires, cravings. And so God allows all these things to happen to us. And we hope that this short video will be a blessing to you, how not to allow the disappointment and the shocks to really affect your relationship or marriage. And more importantly, don't tell others as well, because sometimes that can easily scare those who are not married to really settle down. So God bless you, and we'll be coming your way again.